In the northern hemisphere right now, it's winter, and that's causing us to hibernate. This season of disempowerment from the weather, our circumstances. Let me give you a tip on how we can spend our time hibernating. I'm in a season of healing, and if you are too, maybe that's why you're here. If you're an intuitive person, highly sensitive person, somebody just got that icky feeling in your body right now that something's just not right, um, here's something that's been helping me feel a lot better. And that's to hold our pain, tend to it. Now, out on the internet, there's a lot of well-intentioned people who are going to tell you to just all you really need to do is just notice the feeling, right? Notice the negativity, hold on to it, accept it, feel it, be with it. And that's all you have to really focus on right now, and that's good. That is so good. It is important that you don't overwhelm yourself um, when you're trying to seek relief from the symptoms, whatever you're going through. Um, but my intuition has been pushing me to use my voice more and more in this way, and so I have something to share today. This is how I go a little bit deeper with my pain. And if you're somebody who has resonated to anything of what I said and can feel anything in your body, maybe this is for you. I believe that you're strong enough to go a little deeper. This is how I do it. I take, I try to frame my pains into a puzzle. And the goal of the puzzle is to break down that image, that experience, into all its most basic parts. And sometimes you don't have clarity on all the puzzle pieces, and it can feel like you're trying to pound some misfitting pieces into place, but it's a puzzle to solve. The puzzle that I want to solve today, that I'm going to share with you, is trying to turn my narcissistic abuse into good. Why was that good that happened? And before I read what I wrote, I love you deeply, Mom and Dad, and but I am sorry for what I'm about to share. I hope it doesn't hurt you. My intention in sharing this is that it will impact anybody who needs to hear something like this. I want to hold my pain, and I'm going to solve this puzzle that it is. This puzzle, when solved, will be an important new image, an image I can laminate and store on my person, close to me at all times. Wait, I'm stronger than that. I need to heal. It will be an image to be absolved into myself, a positive reflection to counterimpose the negative carved deeply into my soul from the learned and expected pain of neglect. I'll turn that into good. My deepest pains, the way I learned to do shadow work before I had a voice, the prepubescent self learning that my heroes, the protectors of my existence, would discard my most important parts of it at the drop of a hat if I attempted to express how I saw the last 5 minutes or whatever facts are in question during this blood curdling discussion about how my point of view is invalid, while the awareness that my parents seem to be people, but they're untethered from their souls. They're here, but not here, in this execution of my character, never truly meeting me, only ever reinforcing how the care they spoke of was actually in the actions they're describing as the proof that it was care. They reveal that they choose not to act differently. They intend to continue hurting me and tell me I am the problem, not in words, but in the abandonment of themselves. They showed me in the not seeing how they come to me to offload their shit when I'm just a child and a grave, lonely, shy kid at that. Shy because I was never validated. How cheap the live, love, laugh, and the home signs hanging all over the walls. Look, I've hated them since before middle school, surely. How long before that? I am culpable of misjudging. But I am grateful, actually, incredibly grateful, just like you taught me to be. I'm grateful you gave me the gift to see through any person I ever looked up to. The broken trust, the nervous system level acceptance of an 8-year-old without the language that the truth of my inner experience was not to be shared with anyone, not even my parents. I'm not 8 now, but I know I had an understanding even back then that the likelihood of accepting wisdom from some kid's perspective was going to cause a lot of suffering for my parents and myself. That path had been exhausted. I'd already tried everything. So without language or knowing what I did, I kept masking up because I still had to try to be seen, to be heard. I know by 10 I was fixing to abandon myself in a big way when something gave me a taste of the language I had been searching for. Good Charlotte's Young and the Hopeless album came out that year, and it shook me. It felt like an older version of myself speaking to me through my in-ear headphones, the closest to noise-canceling thing I had at the time, that I would soon too abandon for external reasons, even though they kept me safe somehow. This older version of me had found a way to communicate what I was feeling in a way that caught people's attention at the very least. I didn't observe others being transformed like I felt I was, but by that point I surely wasn't going to share even deeper feelings about myself that I had stumbled across. I could sense that there were people out there who felt what I felt and that they couldn't talk about it, even if I went first. That seemed to make things stick harder, and my curiosity and desperation repeatedly broke my own heart that way for many years. I wonder if people remember me and those days as a kid, desperately searching for somebody who felt as hurt as he did. And I accepted even then. This was the path to get to where I wished. The only other option for me that in my body gave me a feeling of balance would be to surrender completely to the truth of my experience and my internal existence. And I knew I was the only one who would believe that. So even if that were completely true and I could abandon myself into that, and it was something I wanted to do badly, I knew it could only lead to me being separate from this world, the materialistic world that we talk about. A part of me knew I couldn't handle that. Certainly not without my needs being met by my caretakers. And without language, I found a way to make every problem about me, a puzzle to solve, a puzzle I could never solve because I didn't know I already abandoned myself. I saw myself as a resource for others. I couldn't help myself. I could only observe and hope I could observe enough to help others. Hopefully, others like me. And back to gratitude. It's a curse first and a blessing second to be able to see through people to whatever degree that is true for you. It's much more difficult and far more important to learn to see through yourself. I'm grateful that in my developing years, I didn't have selfish goals for myself. I only had to learn everything. I'm not grateful for treating myself like a resource to be used to some other person's gain, but it allowed me to keep my internal world safe enough to one day share it. I'm grateful for the desire that living that way planted deep within me. The desire to do right and provide care that actually was that. Care that couldn't be interpreted as anything else. I'm grateful that even though it felt like it at times, that I never truly lost trust in that inner voice inside of me that told me, pay attention. Everything you need to know can be observed in every moment. Care to make good of the bad. That and my intuition lead me here in a state of being where I am full. Doing this over and over again is how. It's time to stop looking at myself as a resource and as a creator, a co-creator, one who takes what is thrown at me with the confidence that it can be used too for good, no matter how cruel it is. How disempowering to the abuser, breadcrumbing you to watch you become more powerful with each crumb. You can do this. We all can do this. Let's do right by each other.